Welcome to the British Football Comic Podcast, the podcast which looks back at those football comics, football strips, and characters we loved from back then and still love today. We are the number one football comic podcast. And as you'd expect from the number one football comic podcast, we don't accept anyone on the team. Oh, no. No, we put everybody through a tough, rigorous assessment centre first. And some of the many tasks we put them through are: can you stand up in goal to face Hamish's hot shot? If lost, could you find Billy's boots in amongst some bushes? Could you cut a Hedgehog Jones haircut? Could you build a football pitch and clubhouse out of an old tennis court and some discarded wood? Can you commandeer a TARDIS to travel back in time to review all the weekly Roy the Rovers comics?
Ooh.
Can you make a high-pitched scream akin to a screaming banshee whilst commentating on a football match? Can you eat a chocky biscuit whilst doing an impression of a Sicilian gangster whilst reading the Roy the Rovers holiday special? And can you do vaguely recognisable impressions of 70s celebrities? Well, only a few select people pass these tests. The creme de la creme, and I'm not talking creme eggs. And most of them are
here.
Yeah, most of them are here tonight. So first up, I am going to welcome the golden time traveler himself, Mr. Ian Golden. Hi, Ian. How are you?
Hi there. I'm great, thanks. I'm actually just been watching a women's match from the USA, Chicago against Kansas City, played right on the banks of Lake Michigan. It's brilliant scenery. Absolutely love it. But so that's been me for the last couple of hours. So on to the pod.
Well,
Thank you.
if you can just divert your attention from there, that'd be handy for the next. That'd be brilliant. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I know you're not doing a section tonight, are you? But
No, I'm
next
not. No,
next up.
originally I wasn't meant to be here today. I was meant to have a meeting, and then the guy called it off. So I thought, hey, I'll just come along to the pod anyway, and I'll just contribute what I can and make my comments. But I'll be back, definitely doing something on the next pod. It may not be a season review, but might be something extra special. It will be great news for all readers.
Okay, well, we know what that usually means, don't we? Changes. But anyway,
Exactly.
let's wait until then. But great to have you on, Ian. And another one of our creme de la creme who passed the assessment centre. Well, he passes the assessment centre with flying colours every time he's on. That is the one and only tangential one, Paul Richardson. How are you?
Well,
Tangential.
I'm not going to lie, Matt. When you were doing your intros, I was like, well, I can't save a hot shot. I can't build a football ground out of a tennis court. And then, of course, you got thankfully to the screaming thing. There I am, the dog whistle of the football commentaries. So, yeah, relief,
Excellent.
mighty relieved that was the test that I had to undergo. But yeah, brilliant. Looking forward to another great episode.
Good, good. Well, it's great to have you on. Welcome. And yes, here he is. It's the Chocky Biscuit addict himself. I can't see. Actually, I think he actually hasn't had one. I'm not quite sure if he's had one yet or not. Bygone Berrigan. How are you, Bygone?
Very, very good. But looking at my picture that if you're watching on YouTube, you will see, I'm going to have to really start cutting down on my chocolate biscuit. Starting to look like Tubby Martin. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, brilliant. And yeah, final part of the team. He can't make it tonight. The Podfather goal. He's stuck somewhere trying to get back from a Torquay women's game. So he'll be back on the next pod for all you goal fans out there. I know there's about 5 or 6 of you. So
It's not
sorry,
gold,
Bob,
but I must admit the studio smells so much nicer without all those
dead
dead
people.
celebrities.
And
And
David Skew's behaving himself in the cupboard, is he?
He's all right. He's all right. I believe that's why Bygone hasn't got any chocolate biscuits. I think David's got them, so he's keeping quiet about the cupboard upgrades.
We'll have to see if any other celebrities might come out of the woodwork tonight.
Oh,
You
gosh.
never know. Maybe some
Gosh.
Welsh ones.
Oh
So-
gosh.
how are you,
fine.
Matt? How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks, Bygone. Thanks for caring. It's nice
Yeah,
that someone. It's nice that someone cares. Yep. Right. Let's go for the running order. So we'll start off as is tradition with Melvin's musings. So I'll be doing that shortly. Then next up, it's Bygone. Bygone, what are you doing for us this week?
I'm going to do something completely different. as a famous comedy troupe once said. And this is going to be the Tiger Sports Library from 1961.
I'm looking forward to this. This is
Good.
yeah, nice to have something different. I do have a lot of these, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that section. Excellent. Then we have Tangential himself, the Screaming Banshee. What have you got?
Yes.
What have you got for us?
Oh, it's the next edition. I think it's episode 21 of the Champ We Are United story. So, yes, and more flashbacks, I can tell you. Might have some cup final commentary for you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's exciting, exciting. And then finally, for sections wise, I'm going to finish off. I'm going to do I think it's the third part. I've
Third
lost
part,
count
yeah.
of the Blackie Gray story. We're still in the 60s. Remember last time we
Wow.
saw him?
Yeah.
He'd won the 1964 European Cup and fallen in love with Suzanne Charisse. We're going to pick up the story a few years later, so I'll do that. Then we'll probably do the socials, and then we'll wrap up the show. So that's the show for you out there tonight. So let's crack on with the first section. So Melvin's musings. So let's have a look at the feedback from the last show. Last show, obviously 126. And let's have a look. We have on the Roy the Rovers 40 years after Facebook site, Mark Butler said picture 2 was the first Roy the Rovers he ever got. That's the picture when you got the wraparound. That's when
Yes.
Melchester won the 1984 FA Cup, and it's a wraparound. It's a fantastic piece of art, isn't it? By obviously
brilliant.
friend in the cupboard, David Skew. So I'm glad, Mark. It was nice to see that.
It's great that Mark Butler has come off the subs bench or out of the reserve
Of
team,
course,
not
yes.
scored an own goal, and commented on this. So thank you very much, Mark.
Good spot, Ian. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously he's still a big fan of Melchester Rovers.
Yeah.
John McKay, I think it's McKay. He said, "Is there any Roy Rovers out there? 83 when Aberdeen beat Real Madrid in the Cup Winners' Cup." So I'm guessing, was there any? Don't know. Maybe was there a feature on that? There probably would have been in an.
I'll try and find
I'm sure
out.
there'll be pictures and stuff, but I don't know
Yeah,
if
I'm
there was
sure
a
there will
feature.
be.
But yeah,
They used to do pictures about 4 or 5 weeks after the fact at that time.
Yeah.
I will take a look for you, and maybe
Okay.
even during this pod, I might pop out and try and find something.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, that was a famous victory, wasn't it? Obviously
yeah.
for Aberdeen. I can remember that very well. Morgan McGee said Victor Boscovich was the first foreign top flight manager, not Arsene Wenger. Well, I mean, that would have been about 78. I mean, can you think of another foreign manager before 78?
It's a good, not before 78. I would be I think there are, but yeah, I'd be struggling.
Yeah. I'm not sure Arsene Wenger was the actual first one anyway. I think
The first one always that comes to my mind is Joseph Fenglos at Aston Villa.
Yeah. Same here. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Morgan. And then we have the Melster himself, Trevor Melvin, and there's another classic into the annals of the Melster himself. Here we go. Crumbs. Leston Villa's Colin Connolly says, "Eat that," and Bygone Berrigan takes the biscuit. Not since Roy Race released his chewy pineapple flavoured Roy the Rovers bar has there been a comic book confectionery furore like it. Oh, I say. Claiming he was in need of a boost, Bygone Berrigan fell well and truly off the wagon wheel after only 1 week of trying to kick his chocky bicky addiction. As the Podfather hosted a galaxy of dearly departed celebrities in a new BFCP Star Bar, including Boise of Only Fools and Horses fame, the comic book bad boys' behaviour was a hot topic of conversation, which caused a complete meltdown that left chocolate and hazelnuts all over Dot's nice clean floor. Oh, I say. Whilst no one at Champ Towers knows the exact reason or is certain as to what lit the fuse and triggered Bygone's relapse, it's thought that the crunch came during the Tangential One's epic 1979 Wembley League Cup final commentary as Leicester Villa took on pod favourites Riverton United. The villain of the piece appears to have been Leicester's Colin Connolly, who was heard to eat heard to shout, "Eat that, Wilson!" after he unleashed a curly whirly of a free kick from the edge of the box, which gave United's keeper Bill Shenton absolutely no chance at all. Although it seems Connolly's jive talk was an attempt to goad Riverton's Tug Wilson, the comment appears to have sent Bygone into a complete twirl instead. Oh, I say. However, ripple dissolve. That's that, I think. As they say in the film world, a brief timeout saw Bygone take a break and recover in time to dominate Collector's Corner. Amongst the corner specialists' most recent acquisitions was a St Albans City Football Club programme for a 1992-93 pre-season friendly with Wycombe Wanderers, which announced that the Roy the Rovers Weekly Comic would be the Saints' sponsor for the coming season. It's thought that a milk chocolate covered dime bar with a crunchy caramel centre was a key ingredient within Bygone's transfer negotiations. Oh, I say, this is beating a record for I says, by the way.
It's right up there.
It was all gold. Terry's apparently, whoever he is, as the team's Time Lord, Golden Ian, navigated his TARDIS across the Milky Way and past Mars to deliver another of his tasty Roy the Rovers season-by-season reviews. In a new section entitled Name Dropping Corner, that's not what I had last night. Name Dropping Corner, it seems mute, but we're going to go into curries now. Oh my God, moving on to chocolate bars.
Oh no.
Oh no. It seems mute chocolate button Matt has two Roy the Rovers comic book heroes on speed dial: legendary artist David Skew and esteemed editor Ian Vosper. The pod's quiet man is rumoured to have attended the ambassador's party and chomped his way through a whole box of Ferrero Rocher with his celebrity comic book chums. Quality street lads. Late news. He does like a bit of a late news, doesn't he?
Yes.
As the Melchester. It's rumoured that Bygone Berrigan is to be recognised this summer in the King's official birthday honours list and awarded both a CDM, Cadbury's Dairy Milk, and a CBE, Chocky Bicky Expert, for his services to in-play snacking on the Football Comic podcast. An open-top double-decker bus ride through the streets of Manchester is now expected to take place, which will see Bygone parade a selection box of his favourite Chocky snacks. They get a reputation.
Is that actually a ticker in the box?
Let's not start this again. Let's not start this again.
If anyone needs to go to the Vindaloo, let's do it now before we start recording properly. Anyway, this could going. Right, okay. Feedback from the champ. We are, by the way, superb stuff as ever. Thank you, Trevor. Excellent, brilliant stuff. Champ, we are united. Facebook page. George Prince chime in. No theme tunes this week. Ian, do you want to go through them? Or are you going to?
It's Prince George. It's Prince George. His reviews are not to be scared of.
Thank you very much. See, as a good reserve, he's on the bench there. He's been warming up, and he's when called for, he delivers. Right, George Prince, a US friend of the show. He says, it seems I'm just copying and pasting my comments on each episode and saying how much I enjoy your podcast. Ian Golden's reviews of the Roy the Rovers is very useful, and it's always a joy to hear Gold's special guests. Everyone has a role in bringing the best British football comic podcast to us every fortnight. Thank you. Thanks, George. That's lovely words. Brilliant. Yeah, keep copying and pasting. We're happy to.
I was going to say, if that's the copy and paste,
I mean,
definitely
bring it on.
Bring it on. I mean, to be honest, I just copy and pasted myself anyway. I mean, nobody sent us any feedback in the last 80 shows. I just make them all up.
I know Dot isn't here today, but we've just actually had a visit from former Labour leader Neil Kinnock. Under the Labour Party, this will be the best podcast ever, not just the best football podcast, it will be the best anywhere podcast. He's gone now.
Nice bit of policy. But just be careful where you step on that beach. Don't fall over, whatever you do. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ian. Adrian Lord, obviously a friend of the show, House of Lord, everybody in the House of Lord, everybody in the House of Lord.
House of Lord. One Lord.
Let's praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Adrian says, well, this podcast was a real treat. A galaxy of chocolate references. But when it came to the crunchy, the team delivered again. You're all a bunch of smarties. It's amazing how off topic you all go. I really enjoyed the 83 to 84 season. I'd stopped reading by then, and well, I think he means reading the comic, not actually by reading. I think he probably continues to read. I
Yeah.
stopped reading by then and had moved to the World Soccer magazine. I love the mention of Buddy Comic. I always enjoyed the character Tuffy, and it's where I met Charlie Ironbar for the first time.
Yes.
He didn't go for Lion Bar. He could have gone for
Nah.
Charlie Lion Bar. Come on, Adrian. Come on, be better. When you did Collector's Corner, I thought Neil Berrigan was going to say he'd recently purchased a FPSM number
No.
417 on eBay. Thank goodness he didn't. Anyway, the episode was a real bounty, and it's amazing how you all do it. You all know your Rolos in the show. The Boise was terrible.
Mine.
Oh, good. We're all having a go now. I thought Goal was going to blow a fuse, but he managed not to get Dot's Snickers in a twist.
Oh,
Very
see
good.
what he's done there.
Love the Haribo's reference too. There you go. The large factory isn't too far from me, and I used to do key skills in the old factory with some learners. Happy days. Well, enjoy, guys. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, House of Lord. Praise the Lord. And finally on Melvin's Musings, we have Nikos on YouTube,
Hey.
and he goes, "Great!" with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation marks. So brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
Love
always
it.
always a good grade, isn't it? If you get 5
Yeah.
exclamation marks. So that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for your feedback. We love hearing your feedback, particularly when it's good. So please keep saying nice things about us.
Yeah. Can I?
You know
Sorry,
what would be? Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, because I looked up and it is Venglos, but do you know what's really interesting? Early foreign managers, Hungarian Elmer Berkesi managed Grimsby Town in the lower leagues in 1954. So I do wonder, could that have been an inspiration? Because, of course, remember, Viktor Boskovic is Hungarian.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
So-
God, yeah,
But
sorry,
Venglos was the first top flight
That's
foreign manager.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Neil? Are you going to say?
I was just going to say it would be lovely that if in Greece there is a chocolate confection called Great with 5 exclamation marks and we've missed the pun entirely. Please, can you confirm?
Please, Nikos, can you let us know? That would be
I
great.
think, or the name of the first English manager that managed in Greece.
One of
I
them.
mean, that's-
He's great.
That is interesting that Hungarian, because obviously that was the famous Hungarian team, weren't they? 1953
Yes.
when they beat England
Yeah,
66-3.
Oh,
The
So
mighty Magyars, the mighty Magyars. Yep.
yeah. Maggie who?
Yeah, exactly.
Maggie arse. Okay.
Magyars.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, let's move on to the next item, and I'm going to hand over to the Bicky addict himself.
Farmer.
Former, yeah. Sorry, he's really keen to say he's
So
no
the
longer an
Bicky
addict.
expert, no longer Bicky addict. He's
Yeah.
in counselling.
So, can you see on the screen, guys? The
Yeah.
yeah, excellent. Okay, so over to you, Bygone.
Yeah, so for the viewers that are listening at home, there will be for the YouTube people who watch on YouTube, there's going to be a picture of each page, but I'll try to describe it as best I can for the listeners. So this week's feature is something a little bit different. It's a Tiger Sports Library, and these were released by Fleetway in conjunction with their the Tiger comic. They also released this picture library, which I think was probably released at the same time as Commandos, and as we'll see, there's other picture libraries as well available. But they are similar to the football picture story monthlies that were released in the 80s. Now, growing up, I never knew about these. I never even used to see them on car boots or market stalls.
No.
It was only I've just seen them on a few internet sites and appear on eBay a couple of times. So I have managed to purchase a couple myself, and they are fantastic. It's like something that you dream about existing, and then they just seem to exist.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
I think with this one there was 12 in a set, and they only released 12, so it mustn't have been very successful. But when I've done some investigating, there was a planned release for 14. And on the last one, on issue 12, it does advertise stories 13 and 14, but
Oh
they've
wow.
never been released, and they even named them as
Interesting.
well. So
Wow.
they've actually both got titles, but none of them was released. Only 12
Wow.
copies were released. And I have
Really
searched
interesting.
to see if there was a 13, 14, but no, there was only 12. Um, and they started this, number one was released in July 1961. That's when it was published. And it was a cost. And I don't know, I don't understand old money that
Hmm.
much, but I think that's a shilling.
Yeah,
Or
that's right. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Ah,
So,
okay.
because obviously I wasn't born then, but I didn't know if any of you guys, you would have been in your teens then, you would have known. Um,
I was a few
45, if you
months. I
don't
was a
mind.
few months old when it's converted.
Where's the mute button?
yeah, so I mean, so they are exactly just like a football picture story monthly. They do contain 64 pages, and they're the same size. And I have since, after doing my investigating, I found out that they had Eagles libraries and different other ones as well. So I'll have to keep my eye out for some of them appearing. But yeah, this is a story. So they all of them, all the 12, seem to focus on Carford City. And they're either Carford City or a lower team called Bradmere. So it's like alternate stories. So one week it's Carford, the next it's Bradmere. But the two teams, when I've read through them, they do seem to be linked in some way. Now, so the way that this works is I'll just go run through the comic, because it's not just Carford's story from page 1 to 64. These are different. So the story runs from page 2 to 54. And then as we go towards the end later, there's a program running from page
Yeah, this is
55
brilliant.
to 58.
Just fast
Um,
forwarding it
and
now
it is a
for
fan.
people.
I really
Yeah,
like it, and I thought that this is something that
look at
tangential one would
this.
love,
Oh, wow.
because
Yeah.
it's got
Brilliant.
like the actual program, which is
Oh
Mm.
wow.
three pennies, um, and then it's got a team listing for
Oh,
Carford and
wow.
East Stoke there, and actual colours, the referee, and then
Mm.
the next page is it's like a little write up by the manager Alf Perry, and he tells you a little about team news, and then a short history on Carford FC, and then it's got a list of all the players that are along the side there, so you actually get to know the club as well, because over the next so many issues they have stories featuring all these characters that are along here, and they all feature in the main story as well. And then as we carry on, it's got like a little feature on Stanley Matthews. It talks about Stanley Matthews winning the FA Cup,
Hmm.
because at 1961 he would have either just retired, I think, or
I
just
think you're
yeah,
right,
not
actually. I
long.
think he played
Yeah,
until, yeah,
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stoke
played.
in the 60s,
Yeah,
didn't he? Or early
yeah.
60s, maybe.
So it's coming because he was one of the big stars, obviously at the time, like the world
Mhm.
class star for England and Stoke and Blackpool. Yeah, so there's a small feature on Stanley Matthews there, and then the page 52 they go through some. If you just is it 62? Sorry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
strange but two facts about all different sports, which I think is great. And then as we come along, then there's a small little feature on Billy Wright, who was also
Yep.
a great player of Wolves in England.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A
Yep.
small feature on him and his career and where he went to play and manage. And at the time, in 1961, he was the manager of England's under-23 team, which obviously a lot of them players would have gone on to win the World Cup in '66. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
probably had a big part to play in that for England. And then the last page shows an advert for the next one, Shoot Cannon, which I may feature in a future one. And then the very back page, it's got this photo gallery of a star who I've never heard of, Jack
Oh, wow.
Brabham,
Oh,
world
he's a
champion.
legend.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
from a tangent,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
I'd heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he ended up actually having a Formula One team. He started a Formula One team,
All
which
right.
won
What's it called?
championships with Nelson.
What's the team called?
I'll give you two guesses.
Oh, the
Brabham's.
Jack team. Yeah, the Jack team.
Yeah,
That was it.
yeah.
Yeah, the famous Jack team. Yeah.
Brabham, Nelson Piquet, Alan Jones, I believe. No,
All
Alan
right.
Jones was William, but Nelson Piquet won the world championship in a Brabham, many in the early 80s. So yeah, very famous Formula
Skid
One
Solo would have
name.
known him, no doubt.
Yeah, it's
He
good.
would
Yeah,
have,
it's
without doubt, without doubt.
So it is a really for some football picture story monthlies, you can read it in about 10 minutes from page 1 to 64, because they're not sometimes they don't go into a lot of detail, but for this it packs a lot of information in over the 64 pages, which I think for a shilling, 5p is fantastic. So I'll go back to the beginning now. So the main story It features Carford City, and it's called Come on Carford. And what is great about this as well, they're also in chapters. There's like 4 or 5 chapters that
Yes, I noticed
separate the
that.
story up.
Mm.
Yeah.
What I have done when I've been reading them, there is a lot more detail than you would have. There's a lot more writing than you
Yeah.
would have got in Football Picture Story monthlies that I've read. But the action in it again is fantastic as well. The artwork's really really good. Um, just so it features on a team called Carford City who've just been newly promoted. It explains, and they're playing a team called East Stoke, who United, who are like the current champions, and Carford City are like the new boys coming up. Just to ask you guys, I know East Stoke and Carford are both Roy the Rovers, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah,
They're
them
both
father.
Melchester verse.
Yeah, so in this, I think it's great because we find a little bit of the history about Carford as
Mm.
well, which is good as well. There's some more canon. As I say, so this story features and it starts, and it looks like there's some hooligans who are
Mm.
disrupting the club, and that's the way it starts now. Um, and they're disrupting what is the modern game, and it looks like they're very well dressed, and they've got whistles and just shouting.
They look like Teddy boys, don't they? They look like
Yeah.
Teddy.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
was
even though,
gonna
but it's
come to that.
1961, so
Yeah, they are
it's
explained in
Yeah.
this booklet as Teddy Boys.
ah
They do name
right,
them as
okay.
Teddy Boys.
Oh right,
Yeah.
okay.
But unfortunately, because of this disruptive behaviour, it does start turning the fans away. So as the game starts, they start to lose form, attendances, and if you can just keep clicking the
Yeah, yeah,
page.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so as the game goes on, they play nearly disrupts the game because they release firecrackers but they score and they win the game. But unfortunately, they notice that the next game, not as many people are going because the older fans feel threatened by these hooligans,
Ah right.
which leads to a drop in the gates and a drop in financial reasons, which leads to the fact that the shares then have to be sold and they end up in the control of just one person owning the club, a chap called Felix Grout, who looks like a real snide.
Oh, there
He's on
he's
the
on the
page.
screen there. Yeah, yeah,
He's your
yeah.
typical bad guy
He's got a
owner.
moustache.
He's
What
got
more
a
can you
typical
say?
moustache. Who he could probably tweak that moustache as he's talking
Yeah.
as well as so
Yes.
he comes along and he's, as I say, he's your typical bad bad guy owner, and you know he's got ulterior motives for buying the club. And as it says, he discloses to himself that he is going to start selling 1 or 2 of the upcoming players to bring in some money more or less for himself. Um, and he realizes that there is a player called Neil, which is a really good name for a player, Neil Morgan. So he's obviously a Welsh winger. And what he's going to do is he's going to sell this
So,
Welsh winger to
so
East Stoke.
any relation to Taffy?
Well,
You just don't know, do you? Could be a long lost brother. But anyway, so he's looking to sell Neil Morgan to East Stoke, who are the highest bidders and current champions. But then we're introduced then to the captain of the team, and it's a captain called Drifter.
yeah.
And he
Drifted Donaldson.
and he is aware of this scheme that he's going to do. He's seen this thing kind of thing before, and this Grout's not a person to be trusted. And then we come to chapter 2, and it introduces us again to this hooligan who is called Whitey now. Um, and obviously these hooligans are going to play a part in this storyline. So the hooligans are still causing discomfort. There's no crowds now. You can actually, as Drifter actually said, you can actually play a game in the stands. There's that much room now. And
One of them looks
he
like Danny Zuko out of Greece.
yeah, that no, it does. Yeah, but it's like that Teddy look, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so anyway, Drifter identified that Whitey, Slade is the root of the trouble, and he says I'm going to find him and I'm actually going to sort him out. So and I think he hangs around at which is quite a rough joint, but it wouldn't be nowadays, the Tequila Coffee Bar. That's where all
Uh,
bad guys seem to hang out there, getting chilled on coffee.
well, it's like that.
Um,
It's like that round that way with Starbucks.
yeah,
You don't want to hang around.
yeah. So
You don't want to go
he's
in there at the wrong time.
So Drifter's like, yeah, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna go and I'll find him, pay him a visit, and we'll sort him out. And all the team are up for it. And the coach just says, "Be careful. I don't want you boys getting crocked." And he says, "No, no, we'll sort this out, once and for all." So they confront him. Um, but Bomber Reeves, who's also Drifter's mate, he's not as calm as Drifter, and he rushes in and he tries to finish it with his fists. But the hooligans respond and they start fighting, and they actually smash up the Tequila Coffee Lounge um, quite badly. Uh, if you flick the page on. So as you can see there, there is actually, you can imagine like kung fu fighting playing in the background, and there's a massive barroom brawl.
The only thing it's
People,
actually missing is the old kapow.
I know there's a oh, oh,
Ouch!
and they're just like jarring each other in there and things like that.
It's great
Anyway, as I
artwork,
say,
isn't it? Yeah,
the artwork is fun. The amount of information that's packed on a page is brilliant.
yeah.
I've got to say, I mean, for the listeners, because if you on the pod you can't see, but I must admit, actually, the amount of the top captions and everything is in virtually every panel. It really is quite
Yeah.
unique for me to see this.
So at the end of the fight, you can see all Whitey's team. They're all on the floor, spread out, and the managers of the Tequila Coffee Lounge is saying, "I'll have the law on for you. This I'm ruined." But Drifter just says, "Calm down. We'll take full responsibility for any damage. Bill me to the care of Carford City Football Club." And the footballers all march out, and they think they've done enough now that they won't that Whitey and his team won't bother with him. But it's not that at all. Whitey's like, yeah, we're going to sort this out once and for all. And he says, wait here. He says, I'm going to go to the ground, and when they finish training, the first one that comes out, he'll regret that he tangled with us. So anyway, they show training, and it's a lovely. There's like 6 or 7 panels, and it's all training activities that must have gone on in the '60s with some teams. So they're carrying a log
Yeah.
across the pitch, dribbling around sticks, playing head tennis. And Roy Race used to do a lot of this. He used to say him
Yes,
playing
he did.
tennis
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
yeah,
his
he
head,
did.
yeah,
head tennis. Then another, they're lifting weights on the pitch. The goalie's put through his paces. And again, if you want to have a tune, it could be the Rocky theme tune. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, showing all this.
The
It's like
soundtrack
brilliant.
will be available soon
yeah, or it could
within
be yeah,
shops.
like Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is appropriate because it's from Tiger. Never
Ah,
thought of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
genius.
yeah, genius. So anyway, they play in there, and then they have a conversation with Neil Morgan, and Neil Morgan looks a little bit upset, and I don't think he wants to join East Stoke. He's looking a bit bemused, stood on the sideline. And the coach says, "Hey, you're transferred all arranged, Neil." And he says, "It sure is. I'll be an East Stoke player by tomorrow night, but I'd do anything to be able to stay at Carford." Probably some words that are going to eat him in a minute. And he's unfortunately the first person then, because he's let to go earlier, he's the first person to leave the ground. And as
Ah.
he leaves the ground, Whitey and his hooligans actually gang up on him, and they batter him to an inch of his life, and they leave him lying on the
Oh my
floor.
God, that's quite a poignant. Look at that bit of
Yeah.
artwork. Yeah,
Yeah,
page
yeah.
26. It's just
Yeah,
a
so on
body
page 26, you
on
see
a lamplight.
it
Yeah.
says only a few vicious moments were needed to complete Whitey Slade's merciless revenge. Grinning wickedly, he led his cronies away from the inert figure in the shadows.
Oof.
And he goes, "This'll learn him. There's one perishing footballer who won't raise a kick for a while." And then in the next picture, you see he's been left there for 15 minutes. Nobody comes out for another 15 minutes, and they see him battered. And it says it looks like Slade's work, the dirty rat. So they realise for some reason they realise he's been beaten up by Slade. And it says the badly injured winger was carried into the first aid room and grimly examined by Jeff Wilbanks and the club doctor. Anxious to know the verdict, Drifter remained with them. So how is it? Morgan's finished with football for this season, at least, mate. He's
Blimey.
suffering from concussion, bruising, and probably a cat rib. So they've done a real number on him, which I think is quite vicious in it for a comic book
Yeah,
for children.
yeah,
Because they don't really show the beating, but you see the aftermath, and he's just lay on the floor
Mm.
under a street lamp, which is quite
yeah.
upsetting for my name, Neil Morgan. And obviously, Ian's feeling it a bit as well with him being Welsh.
Oh, I mean, nearly is saying I don't want to go to Eaststock. I don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to stay at Carford. I do.
But yeah, there's no bios in there, is there, or anything?
Mm.
Not that I'm being
Not that
typecast.
I
anyone
think
ever
I
uses
think
that
you were.
anyway, but
I
there
think
we
you
go.
were being racist.
So anyway, the news of the attack spreads and it reaches Felix Grout. And he's like comes in really anxious about it all and worried, but I don't think he's concerned about the player. He's concerned the fact that this transfer is off and he's not going to get his £20,000 for his transfer fee. So
Felix
anyway,
Grout is now turning into Ray Reardon, isn't he?
Yeah.
You're looking on the next one.
I think he looks like what Adam's family. What's he called?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for the listeners, he
Mr.
looks
Adams.
like
Yeah, yeah.
what's he called? What's he called?
Can't remember.
Morticia's the wife. What's he called? Gomez.
Gomez.
Yeah, looks like Gomez. So
Very much
anyway,
like very much like an original Gomez, yes.
yeah,
Like the classic Gomez.
Not
Drifter.
one of the three Wolverhampton Gomez's.
So anyway, going back to this story, Grout's distress, it says that is obvious, but Drifter has a feeling that it didn't come from any genuine concern for Neil Morgan's condition, and he says, "I suppose this means your transfer is not going to go ahead after all." And he says, "Who says anything about changing plans? East Stoke don't know about this, so the transfer can go ahead for as all I concern. I'll get the check, and it'll do a lot of good for the club." So he didn't even bother to look at Neil Morgan. He just comes out smugly thinking that the transfer is going to go ahead anyway. And Drifter says he doesn't care about the club or Neil. He's just out to line his pockets. He's not going to do it at the expense of Carford or East Stoke for that matter. I'll make sure of it.
Can you, I'm a bit disappointed in all of us the fact that this guy's actually called Drifter, and we haven't even mentioned the fact that that's a chocolate bar. I just want to kind of put it out there.
I thought we was moving on from.
That's so last.
Oh, sorry,
Was never
I'm
as good as
sorry,
a
I'm sorry.
Twix, though, was it? That's the problem.
Okay, keep moving. Sorry, it was me. It's my mistake. I'll edit that out.
Just let it melt away.
Oh, God.
Next page. So chapter 3 is called Errand of Peril. I don't know why. But then late the following afternoon, Drifter is waiting in the corridor as Felix Grout is ushered into the East Stoke representative's office. So he's trying to get them all in quick, and Grout's just saying, let's get straight down to business. The contract's been prepared, and all we need is your signature. You think the player needs to be there, but obviously that in them days they didn't need the player; they just wanted to sign. So Drifter waits outside for a few minutes, and then he barges into the room and says, "Don't sign that contract." So Grout's like, "Donaldson," because that's his name, Drifter Donaldson. "What's the meaning of this?" So Drifter's meaning was very plain, and so were his words to the East Stoke men. Their eyes narrowed as they learned of the dubious transaction that Grout had planned. "If you sign that contract, you'll be landing yourselves with a crippled player. Neil Morgan may never be the same footballer again." And Grout's like, "Don't listen to him, he doesn't know what I'm saying." But the East Stoke contingent are not daft, and they knew too well what Drifter was saying. Icily, they put away their pens and rose to their feet. And they say that this puts an entirely different matter on the situation. It seems that you hope to conceal the fact that Morgan was injured. Naturally, we are no longer interested in signing him, and must warn you that you will make no friends in football with an attitude of this nature. And Grout's like left he can't speak. He just can't speak. He can't retaliate.
Hmm.
So as they go away, Drifter explains to Grout why he did it, and he says, "I think that you're one selfish money grabber, and you try to ruin Carford. I only hope we can stop you before they drag this club down." And he walks off after making his point. But then Grout says, if you think you're clever, I won't let this happen again. I promise you, I'll finish you with football once and for all, and I know just the boys to help me." Who do you think is going to get to help him ruin the club?
Oh,
The T-Birds.
Bobby
He's gonna get
Gomez.
the
Is it the
Teddy
T-Birds?
Boys. Yeah, he's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get the
yes,
Teddy
yeah,
Boys.
yeah.
So it's the following day, Felix, by I love this word, by dint of discreet inquiries, never heard that saying before,
Yeah.
found his way to the tequila coffee bar and the lonesome presence of Whitey Slade. So he says to him, "How would you like some cash, Whitey? There's a certain person I'd like to see you take down a peg or two. His name's Donaldson, and from what I hear, you aren't exactly on good terms." And he offers him £50 to have him taught a lesson he'll never forget. So he obviously accepts this, which £50 in them days would have been a
Well,
lot of
yeah, it
money, I
would be.
think, like a
Buy
month's
a house for
wages.
that.
He would have done, yeah. So he says, "Yep, I'm gonna." He said, so he's gonna help you and do that if you carry on for the next page. Sorry, I've lost where I am up to in my
Okay.
notes now. So anyway, Grout then goes back to Donaldson and to Drifter and says, "Let's forget what happened. I want to convince you that I've got the club at heart. And for a start, I've heard there's a very promising youngster playing in a school match at home park. Why don't you go over there and have a look?" And he says, "What are you going on about? What is it about?" And he says, "I'm trying to get you down there to have a look at an outside right for a grammar school. I think he'll make the grade, and then we can put him in the club's youth team. What do you think?" And I think Drifter's a bit like Roy Race. He just cannot resist trying to find that next bargain. And he
Yeah.
knows that Drifter is going to go to this grammar school to watch this player play. And as he's walking off Drifter, Grout is like, "You'll find someone at home park, all right, Donaldson, but it won't be what you're expecting, and you won't like it one bit." And the
Lucky enough,
next,
though, Drifter Donaldson didn't take a helicopter. He's just taken a
no,
moped.
no, he didn't. He took something even.
Them helicopters are very dangerous, mate.
Well,
You
he
should
took a
know that by now.
moped with no helmet on as well, which is
Oh,
even more
yeah.
dangerous.
It was the 60s.
For all the listeners, please make sure you do wear helmets and maybe
Yeah.
some ladders as well. So the next scene is showing Drifter riding off in his little moped, and he's going up to the ground. But as he's driving off, these two sinister fellas actually watching him drive off, and them two chaps are the hooligans, and they realise if they take the back streets, we can catch up and get to the ground before him. But the toughs themselves the tough group have also been observed by Bomber Reeves, and he sees these getting away. So he realises he's been waiting for Drifter to leave, and something's wrong here. So he says, so he runs back into the ground and he says, "Where's Drifter? Where's he off to?" And one of the lads says, "He's off scouting job for Grout. He's gone to a grammar school." So Bombers puts two and two together and he phones for the police. So the next scene is a showdown with Grout. And it shows Drifter just turning up and to an empty school. There's nobody playing on the football pitches, but you can see Whitey just hiding in the bush. And as Drifter walks past, Slade comes out, and with all the other guys, and it looks like they're going to ambush him at the school. So as they jump out of the buses, but God, I can't get my words out. They jump
Bushes?
The
out of the
buffet of
bushes
bushes.
and shout, "Get him, boys!" So as they run out there, they start to actually attack him, but he comes on the front foot first, and he has a good old wallop at Whitey and chins him with one shot, and they all start another big fight. But just as they do that, the police turn up with with Bomber Reeves in the car as well, and as the police turn up, they all start one big ruckus again. So Bomber Reeves comes in, the police come in, and they're all fighting together. But unfortunately, Whitey and his mate run off and just leave all them lot fighting. And Whitey, as he's running off, he says the whole thing is a trap from the start. Grout's trying to get back at me for scaring fans away, so he thinks he's been dobbed in as well. He said, "Come on, I know where the perisher lives. I'm going to go back to Grout and I'm going to cause him trouble for double crossing me." So we've got Drifter who was trying to get Whitey and they'd been set up, but Whitey then realizes that Grout's tried to set all two of them up at the same time. So anyway, the lads get away and the police don't run after him, but Drifter realizes that he's going to go to Grout's house to sort this out once and for all. So 15 minutes later, they're all outside the house now. So you've got the police, we've got Drifter, and as they arrive at the house, they can see Whitey's motorcycle outside the house. As they go to knock on the door of this big mansion, Grout answers the door and he says, "Donaldson, Reeves, you got to help me. The hooligans are tearing up the place. Please stop them before they ruin me." And as you go in the house, you can see the hooligans smashing the place up. All these artifacts, all these antiques are all getting smashed up. And Drifter says, "Why should we help you? If you've had your way, I'd be a cripple by now. And what about the damage you've done to Neil Morgan?" So Felix Grouse shook with fear, and as he stammered out his reply, he says, "Please believe me, I'll make it up to you. I'll do anything. I'll sell my shares in the club. I'll give them away. Anything you like, as long as you help me." So anyway, the Drifter and Bomber run in, and they go one each Bomber, and just as you can see, Whitey's going to smash this painting up. They go in there, running in, and they start beating them up. And Grout is watching from afar, and you can see the professionals are there smashing them up. And Felix Grout rushed in as the toughs were overpowered, but there was no gratitude in his voice for the footballers, only a whining concern for his precious antiques. He says, Look at this, it's cost me a few £100. Another minute and they'd have started smashing up my paintings." And Drifter's like, "Well, they didn't. We kept our side of the bargain. Now we're holding to yours. What about it, Grout?" And then Grout shows his real true colours. "I don't have to bargain with you. I'm not finished with Carford City by a long way. I can get a cool 20,000 for you. Don't forget that. And you can think yourself lucky you're still able to walk. If Slade had fixed you like I paid him to, you'd be in the same state as Morgan." So at that point, he's told them all his plans.
Yeah.
But the old Bill's there at the door, and they've listened to
Oh.
everything. They've actually it's another setup. It's like the Sting. There's about 14 different setups in this,
It is like that.
isn't it?
Brilliant,
It's like
brilliant.
so. Anyway, so then the police come in, and the police say they've heard everything. So they say this is a serious matter. You are quite entitled to press charges against this man. So Grout's like, what? And it's like, you can't press charges on me. Please don't do it. A court case will ruin me. So Drifter's like, that's up to you. He says, but if you give Carford back to the men who built it and sell your shares back to the people who will use them to invest them in the football club, I'll forget the old thing. And now because the police are there, he says, okay, Donaldson, as you say, I'll see my accountant tomorrow, sell my shares. And he says, that's just what we wanted to hear. I won't press charges. So then Bomber and Drifter get back on the moped. And he says, Bomber's like, do you think Grout will keep his promise? And he says, well, if he doesn't, I'll whip him to court fast and you can take a throwing Bomber. But I have a feeling he'll toe the line this time. So it seems like it's gearing up for a nice little ending. But we still a player down. Morgan's not going to be fit for the end of the season. So as we click on, it comes on to so the last chapter, we've got City find a new star, and it appears that Drifter was right. The following Friday, the sports page of the Carford Chronicle bore headlines that caused a minor sensation in the town. So it appears that the chairman has resigned, and the fans are saying, I might go back now and might start watching Carford because apparently another headline states that the troublemakers have been rounded up and arrested. So it looks like the fans might be coming back to the club.
Mm.
And then one of the next scenes we see is this fans got their arms around each other and saying it's like old times. And not all the fans returned, but some of them have returned. And it says, we'll see. He says it'll take nice to return back to the old times, one of the fans says. And one of them says, we'll see. Wellington Town will take some beating. The second in the league. And don't forget, City haven't got Neil Morgan. But a new name caught the eye on the Carford programme. And a name of a youngster called Jimmy Maskell. He's from the reserves and he's going to make his debut. Nobody knows that much about him, but other than the fact that he's a good reserve player. But we also find out from this that City need a win to keep in the title race because obviously the result form's been dipping. And there's a thing now that says that what a couple of their owners are saying, if we don't beat them tonight, our chance of winning the league will go. So as the team run out, you can see it's a very, very nervous Maskell who's entering the pitch. But they just give him some reassurance and just say, come on, we'll keep an eye on you because he looked a bit shaky in the dressing room. But the young winger was shook, all right. Although he's a quick winger, the burden of feeling Neil Morgan's place had reduced his confidence, and the match starts and he loses the ball quite easy, which leads to a goal for Wellingford. And as the ball goes in, the fans are saying, "Don't you believe it? This game's not over yet." So obviously the fans have got confidence in the team.
Mhm.
The next thing, Drifter has a quick word with him, settles him down like a good captain should, and says, "Don't worry about it. Get your head down, play the ball, and now listen. You next time you get the ball." And he gives him some words of wisdom. And from the restart, his confidence is back. He takes the ball down the line to the byline, and crosses it in. Um, excuse me. Another winger crosses it in, and as the ball comes across, Maskell's in the middle and nods it in with his head. So it looks like he's got his confidence and
Yeah.
showing the form that he did for the
Great
reserves, and
header.
he's really
Yeah.
pleased with
Yeah.
himself.
Lovely goal.
Yeah, nice cross and a head in there. A nice number 7 as well as the winger.
Yeah.
You don't see many sevens as a winger anymore.
No.
Yeah, so from that moment, his confidence soared, and he now runs down the line with the ball. And everyone said, "Wow, what a great player we've found! He's as good as Morgan." And someone said he'll be as good as Morgan any day. I quite feel sorry for Morgan because he's just been completely forgot about. His hair all battered, and this fella's just took his place. But anyway, Maskell, inspired by the confidence that Drifter had given him, gets to the corner flag, crosses the ball into the box. It's and the inside left, who immediately passed it to Drifter. The defences are all 6 and 7s, and Drifter just whoops the ball in past the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper don't even move. It's like hot shot. Amish nearly breaks the back of the net. With the last kick of the game, that's it. 2-1. They've beaten Wellingford. It kept them in the title race. And as Drifter says at the end, this is only the start. Carford City, it's on its way up again. And there's a little ending, the final chapter. It says the men of Carford had made a fighting comeback. And in the battle against their setbacks, they had discovered a bright star, Jimmy Maskell, a player who would help them to take their place in the Hall of Fame.
Mm.
So, to me, I think it's a great story. I'm sorry if I've gone on a little bit more, but it's a really good introduction to Carford City. And in one story, we've had a chap being beaten up, we've had hooligans, we've had a scrupulous owner, and they've overcome them all. and now they've found this great new winger from the reserves.
That's
So
brilliant.
I think,
That's
oh,
superb.
I think it's great, and the fact that these 12 stories, at least six of them are going to relate to Carford. I'm going to
Yeah.
go through them, and I think it'll show a football club evolving. Um, and I really like what follows next. In it's the program, and it makes you feel a little involved. You can actually see the program.
It,
Oh yeah.
it's really on the program as well. So it's being shown on the screen to the listeners. But like you said there about the number seven, you kind of forget this. But you got like two defenders and then midfielders. But the numbers are actually like one, two, three,
Yeah,
four.
the linear.
There exactly, and it is so funny to see that. You
So
forget
for
that's how it was done.
That's right.
the season finished, obviously, and then obviously the next season, this must be the September 1661, is the following season. So again, they play in East Stoke, and as you look
Mm,
through the program, the team up front, you've got Maskell at number 7, you've got
mm,
Drifter at number 9, but number 10 is
mm,
Morgan. So he's
Yeah.
obviously,
Taffy's brother. Yeah. He's there.
mm.
yeah, he's actually come back and got himself back in the
Mm,
team, which is great. And it's got it's then it has this rundown, but it can't be the same. So talks about the players. So it talks about Drifter Donaldson, who we've met. We've not met any of the other. We've got as we go down. We've got Jimmy Maskell making his debut in the first team. Um, how fast he is. We've got Don Harris, who was obviously Bomber Harris, but like you just said, then Mike Morgan.
mm,
Ah, right.
mm.
So it's
Interesting, yeah.
He's a
yeah.
Scot.
So either they've got the name wrong because he's an inside left as well, but
Right.
only signed last season from Middleton Athletic. Despite his Welsh-sounding name, Mike's a Scot who hails from
Oh, yeah.
Brady. He
Wow.
came into limelight early on his career playing as many shoot interest football. So it's not the same. It's not the same
Oh,
Morgan.
okay.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
So I
Okay.
was wrong. Yeah,
mm.
that's a bit upsetting, isn't it? So he's probably still
Yeah.
just a cripple. Uh,
That was, I mean, yeah, that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I mean, it was just the fact that it was, as you say, it's so similar to Football Picture Story Monthly in a way. There's kind of, links to like United with having, the background and a program and talking
yeah,
about introducing the whole team. Um, it's, as you say, it's fascinating for us who never actually read it at the time because obviously we weren't born, and to kind of just see these 12
Yeah.
stories. It's and it was. I mean, I've got them. I was looking at it, and you're right. Is that you've got Bradmere? There are two actually published per month,
yeah.
so they're published at the same time. So you
So
had one for
similar to Football Picture
yeah.
Story
So you had one for
Monthly then,
Carford,
actually,
one
yeah.
with Carford City, and one with Bradmere Rovers, and yeah.
Right. Oh,
So
yeah.
So it's
Bradmere are
brilliant.
like a non-league team, a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
low team.
So maybe the
But
plan was to carry it on. I don't, like you were saying.
Mm,
Obviously, there was a plan to carry it on for whatever reason.
mm,
We don't know why
yeah,
it didn't
I
continue,
mean,
but
obviously, I think with Commandos run all that time,
yeah.
all the way through. But obviously, even then, when Roy the Rovers, when Tiger must have been like a really big selling comic, there still wasn't enough interest in a small football comic, and it wasn't
Or
until that finished in
mm.
62, and it's 23, 24 years later, they thought, right, let's try Football Picture Story Monthly, and
Yeah, you got to
yeah,
remember that they
that
are
was
different
different company, wasn't
publishers.
it?
no, yeah, but they still would
Yeah.
have known, they would have been aware maybe of, that nobody else has tried it, had they, in that 20 odd years, is what I'm trying
But
to say. There was
Yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, no,
a
I
market.
think
but
I think that. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
go on, Paul. No, well, I was just going to say is that we automatically assume that it's because people weren't buying it. But do you remember when we were
Yeah,
talking to Bill and
yeah,
Martin
about Champ.
that Champ was actually still really popular, and it
Mm,
was like a budget decision. They wanted to put the money elsewhere, so it
Mm.
could have still
Okay.
been it could have been really popular. I mean, there was
It,
going back
it's
to what
just
you were
with
saying earlier,
them.
there was lots of picture libraries. There was, I mean, remember when we interviewed David Hunt, he started
yeah.
out on the cowboy
Yeah,
picture libraries for
Yeah.
IPC Fleetway around there. So there would have been loads of these different types of libraries, and maybe they just thought, let's put that money somewhere else.
yeah.
So
It's just
might
with
have been
them. With
popular.
them.
Uh,
If it just, I'll try and share my screen. Just a minute. Let me. Yeah. If you, I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah, go
thought,
on.
just not
just
yet.
what you're saying there, of course. I
I
mean, it
was
is a
just.
few years
Oh,
later, but you had the Scorcher
oh,
and Scorer as well. But I mean,
I
that is
can't share
kind
my
of
screen.
9 years later. But I
Yeah.
Yeah.
do think it's interesting, and we found out. I mean, you know, when you hear like Barry, as I think has has mentioned it, but certainly when the DC guys came on, when they said like if an edition fell below so many copies, and you look at it and you think, crikey, if any comic was getting that readership now,
Oh yeah.
that they would be considered the flagship bearers. And that, back in those days, as you say, I mean, you get selling that many, and they would have gone, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's just I think like I say the readership. I don't know what it was. What it had to be
Mm.
because they must to have actually planned. I'm just trying to get up now. They actually had it was called Team Spirit, which would have been that was number 13. That was a Carford City picture story, and 14 was called Professor Soccer, which was a Bradmere Rovers picture story. And it says watch out. So they must have these stories have been written.
Scheduled. They were scheduled, didn't they? They
Mm.
clearly were scheduled, and they're taking the decision for what. Yeah,
Yeah, but they must have. So it'd be interesting. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if anybody out there might know, or you guys might know. I wonder if them stories, if they've been written, maybe got incorporated into an annual or something like that. There
yeah,
might be a picture
could
or
be.
a worded
I mean, I was. I
story
mean, it's not the same, I know, but when you hear the name Bomber Reeves, I'm sure there's a Bomber Reeves played for
in Right
Melchester.
Rovers.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
well, there was Rama Reeves in the Football Picture Story monthlies.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
There
Okay.
was an issue with he was the star character. But I have to admit, I've got to say, it's quite interesting because you've got so much stuff. This really is almost my first. I'm aware of these, my first full exposure to them. And I mean, obviously you don't know, but I mean, I really picked up We Are United vibes that this could
Mm.
almost have been the inspiration for that. But it just goes to show, I think, when you've got like the Football Picture Story monthlies or Champ, which is what the guy said, like 8 pages, 9, 10, potentially 10 pages dedicated to a story, how much more in depth you can go, can really give histories and things like that. And that's what these books obviously did, right?
yeah. I think even looking through the other ones, they've all got different features and extended parts at the end of each one. So
Mm.
I think they're really interesting. I might do another couple of reviews if listeners
Well,
want
that
to hear a
was.
few more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
great.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
about the
Definitely.
listeners, I do.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
mean
that was
that's.
really good. Very boys' own in places, of course, wasn't it? As
Yeah,
Yes.
were
Yeah.
back in the day. You know,
Yeah.
the villains and the kidnapping
Yes.
and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. But yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I say
You're right.
even like the little bit of violence you get in it, like the
Yeah.
fighting and just to have somebody lay on the pavement for 15 minutes.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a very, you know what, it was a very violent society back then. It really
Yeah.
was. If you read stories about in the 60s, 50s and 60s of like Teddy Boys and
yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah,
it's
yeah, and it actually
stabbings
does
and yeah,
mention the Teddy,
yeah.
Teddy
yeah, yeah,
Teddy
yeah.
Boys in the book. So, but yeah,
Good.
that it was good. Yeah,
Brilliant.
and
That was
it's not
brilliant.
aged.
No,
I don't think.
Mm.
No, it didn't
no,
age.
it's great. And thank you for sharing that. I'm
You're
sure
welcome.
our listeners will appreciate that. And yeah, let's bring back another story at some point. Maybe like a Bradmere Rovers or something
Yeah,
like that.
definitely.
That'd be good. Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant stuff. Nice one,
Mhm.
Berrigan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Before
Well,
you Before you
go on,
go on
Ian.
to anything else, in answer to a query that we've had earlier in the pod, Aberdeen was celebrated winning the Cup Winners' Cup twice in Roy the Rovers back in
Yeah.
1983. First one was issue 344, dated the 18th of June 1983. And I don't know if this will work going on screen, but no, it doesn't. I've
No,
just sadly it doesn't. But there is a photo
We
here
can
of
see
one of the
we can see a
goals.
glimpse of it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and 2 issues later, issue 346. I won't put it up on screen because it'll just make me disappear like it did last. But there was a sign, please, of Willie Miller with the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah,
Ah,
nice one.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Legendary Willie
legend,
Miller. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so look back on the 18th of June 1983 and the 2nd of July 1983. There we go.
Brilliant stuff.
Brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Ian.
No
Great
problem.
detective work there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, let's over to the tangential one, and he's going to
Yeah.
take us back to
Back.
United. Yeah, and I'm going to find the screen. So
So I got
you go
myself in a,
ahead.
whilst you're sorting that out, because I mean, listeners and YouTube viewers, I got myself in a right old muddle with this last time. And of course, because it's now not just Champ, it's Champ Spike. And I'm stopping myself from saying and because there is no and on the cover. It just has the champ banner and
Right.
then Spike in the bottom part of the corner of the champ banner on the front page. And here we are now. So it's Champ Spike edition number 21, and it's the 14th of July, and it's 1984. And what's quite interesting, actually, on this cover, there is no We Are United. It is actually Death in the Park and another case for Pendragon. But with us being the British football comic podcast, we, of course, are going to go straight to the We Are United story. So on that first page, then, in the top panel, we're informed that the new season is just over a month away, and Joe is putting the players through a training session. And we see Alex Hedgehog Jones, and he's weaving his magic. And as he goes past Tug Wilson, past you again, Tug, look out, Iron Bar. And Jones now fires in, and a low shot beating Iron Bar. Unimpressed Tug Wilson looking on, you cocky young twerp. I've got to say that. Good team spirit here straight away. And then we see the guys, the players are in the team bath afterwards, and Hedgehog Jones is shouting, "What a goal! What a goal!" And the other players are saying, "Are you in pain? Because if you're not, we are listening to that flaming singing." And Jones, Hedgehog Jones, "You're all jealous because I sound a lot like Rod Stewart." Well, I'm not so sure about that. One player remarking, "More like flaming Donald Duck." But Hedgehog's had a bright idea. "Hey, I've just thought of something, boss. Why don't we record a team song? I could sing lead vocals." Joe Pearson, he's straight in. "No way." Hedgehog, United tried it once and it caused all kinds of trouble. Benny Granger asking, "I don't remember that, boss." And Pearson, it was back in 1980. We had made it to the FA Cup final against Manchester City. Everybody was dead keen to make the team. And of course, now we're transferred back as Joe's telling the story, and all the panels now are in 1980. And we now suddenly see the first team squad are in training, and it was only with the final only 2 weeks away. We see a panel with all the players working hard. Fred Rimmy's got the weights out, and Tug Wilson's doing press ups. And trust me, there's a lot of team banter going on here that I just haven't got time to go through it all. And then we see that the players, they're in demand at social functions because they're in the FA Cup final. And we see Clive Late Night Lyle, and he's singing karaoke. I'm not really going to give a go on this one because I don't recognise the song, but the lines are, "Ooh, Ruby, don't take your love to town."
Yeah, no.
I'm just not sure what that one is. But anyway, as Clive sits down, a figure approaches and saying that if he was given a few breaks, that he could make it as a pop star. Fred Rimmy, given a few breaks, he might make it as a football star, mate. Some more banter going on in these panels. But this mysterious figure, he reckons that you could always send to them. He reckons you could all become singing stars. I have United never thought of cutting a team disc. He left the players his card. Monty B. Knowles. The next day, Clive Lyle shows the card to manager Ron Boston. And Ron Boston, I'm a bit surprised at this, but maybe we'll cover this a bit later on. But he says, "Yeah, I like it, Clive. Go ahead and fix it up. The deal with this Monty character." And so a few nights later, Joe Pearson sees Tug Wilson he sat at home, and on the television, Tug Wilson's advertising a hardware store on TV. Next day at training, the players are giving Tug stick, but the boss said it was okay and it's easy money, and advertised as the king because they're in the cup final. Over the next few panels, we see the players, they're taking full advantage of this. Bill Shenton's in what looks like a really top-notch, upper class, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if it's Michelin star, but it's up there, restaurant, and he's getting free meals, but he's just getting them just to be seen eating at the restaurant. Striker Kevin Kane is advertising shirts for a tuxedo company. Then we see Fred Rimmy teeing off, and he's got a new set of golf clubs. Only Captain Joe Pearson's got reservations, especially when he sees named players are leaving early. And I found this interesting because obviously, remember, we had the 1979 League Cup final, and I've forgotten the name of the coach now. Oh, I should have made a note of this, but the players. No, Ron Boston's the manager. Remember, Headbanger, somebody it was.
Headbanger Barton.
Thank you, Headbanger Barton. But as the players go off, they actually ask Andy Bates if it's all right if they leave training early. And as I say, Andy, got to go. I've got a contract to advertise a new car for a local garage, Fred Rimmy says to him as Joe Pearson's looking on, really not thinking that this is a great idea. Then after training, Clive Lyle bursts through the door of the players in the dressing room and says, "Great news, fellas. The record deal is all fixed up with to appear at Monty's recording studio tomorrow afternoon." Well, the players turn up and there's more banter going on about the solo part, but Clive has managed to get that for himself. Now it gets interesting. Not sure I can sing this, but once more, the multiverse really collides with the real world. And I must admit, I'm always uncomfortable with this, but
same
I'm going
here, same here.
to give it a bit of a go. And I do apologise to all listeners. Obviously,
I've always had an idea about this, but you carry on.
The pipes of the pipes of Mr. Golden or Gold, but here we are. They're the players. We are united for the fray. Bring on the Spurs, and we'll see them on their way. Chelsea or Luton, Everton or Stoke. It makes no difference. We'll slot it in the poke. Well, I have to say, I'm not so sure.
Can I quickly interrupt and give my idea, Tangent?
Yes,
Because
go for it.
I've had this in my mind for 40 years. So for me, it's the theme tune to "We Are the Champions," the old kids.
Oh, yeah.
We are united, united for the fray. Bring on the Spurs and we'll see them on our way. Chelsea or Luton, Everton or Stoke, makes no difference. We'll slot them in the poke. We are united.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have lined that up with you before this, Ian, because you did a much better rendition than me, and you've certainly got a tune to it rather than my very poor thing. And of course, you've also put me right on the lyrics, because I was going to say the lyrics not as easy as you might think, but I think you've hit the
yeah. Well, could the listeners actually
there.
vote in and tell us your favourite? Is it A? Is it tangential one, or is it B? Is it time traveller?
And the winner can get an MP3 bite-size recording.
Yes, of the rendition. Another vote that I'm going to get nil point on. So anyway,
I do agree with you about the real team names. I remember, I think it was in the City story, one of the stories. I remember it on Mighty Mouse. I hope we'll get Liverpool or Spurs.
Yes. What I always find
when they could have used like their Chidse.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I can't think at the moment Spurs or Luton, maybe Stoke, but they could have obviously had Chelbridge or Chidsey and Everton, as the substitutes there. But
anyway,
it is what it is. Yeah. So back to the story, and the United players are not doing so great. The conductor there is stop, no, someone's out of tune. It sounds like a funeral march. And Rimmy to Clive will never get the solo spot right. Let me do it. Rubbish. I'm one of the best voices. Clive Lyle and Joe Pearson's looking on at the players as they're arguing in the recording session, and the recording session it just ends in chaos, and it happens twice more when the guys go there. And manager Ron Boston, he's had to step in, and it's a training session. And he said, "Listen, you tone-deaf morons, you'd better get the next session right, because it's going to be your last. From now on, it's football that's going to occupy your time." And in the next panel, we see the guys, they're back singing. And in the next panel, the conductor is finally happening. And he's marvellous. It will be a fantastic success. But after the recording, we see a panel that goes big, wide panel across the whole page, and we see Clive Lyle. "What do you mean my singing was off? Mate, you should have heard yourself." And in the background, Tug Wilson. "Blooming clown you are, Rimmy. You joked your way through those recording sessions." Rimmy, "Maybe, Tug, but our club song should have been 'Send in the Clowns.' Your face wouldn't have needed any makeup." It's funny enough. Pearson, though we see in his thought bubble, well, it certainly hasn't helped team spirit. And then the next day at training, Tuck Wilson tackles Kevin Kane. "What are you trying to do, Wilson? Break my leg?" And Wilson, "Don't be daft, Kane. I won the ball fair and square." And then we see now Fred Rimmy. God, it's a big shoulder challenge, bouncing Clive Lyle off the ball. And then more banter between the two players. And this arguing's going on. And again, it's enough. Ron Boston, I said, "That's it. I've had enough. Come here, everybody." He calls them all around in a huddle. This bickering stops right here, or you can all say goodbye to your cup final places. I'll bring in the reserve team if I have to. Do I make myself clear? Yeah, all right, boss. And I've got to say, I must admit, the artwork is brilliant. And it is kind of a little
It looks
bit
really
sort of like
angry.
their
Yeah.
skill. He's very angry, and they're almost kind of like school children, you know. Now, as the players, the training session kind of finishes, we see the players getting back to the dressing room. Tug Wilson, he's asking Clive Lyle about the record. Surely it should have been released. It is 5 days to, it's only 5 days to the final. Lyle saying he will contact Monty. And the next day, though, we on the training pitch, things at last, are coming together, and we can see some nice moves being worked on. And then the media, though, confronting manager Boston about rumours of unrest in the dressing room, about advertising and record deals. Boston, rumours. Rumours, all rumours. The lads are in are in great fine form and playing well, as you'll find for yourselves on Saturday. So Ron Boston there, he's happy. And then the morning before the cup final, though, we see Joe Pearson. I find this quite interesting because part of this story is Joe's really shown his concerns, but he's about to drop a real bombshell. And I would have thought he wouldn't have mentioned this, but he's got a newspaper and he says, hey, it says here that Clive Lyle is getting 60% of the recording deal. Fred Rimmy, you rat, Lyle, you've rigged the deal to suit yourself. And then Lyle again, he's like, so I wrote the lyrics, I arranged the deal, and I'm the lead singer, and you lot'll do okay, thanks to me setting it up for you. Rimmy not happy. Let's go, lads. Something smells around here, and for once it ain't Tug's feet. Tug will live a little bit charming. So there you go. And then in the dressing room now, before the final, I think this is the tempers are simmering. There's a real undercurrent here, and Fred Rimmy's he's kind of kneeling down, and he can't find his shin pads. But Clive Lyle, he's found them. Whack! He's thrown them across the dressing room, and they've bounced off the wall. Here they are. You ought to be more careful, Rimmy, before you start slinging accusations around. Oh, man, I've got to say, Fred was just saying, where are my shin pads? But there's definitely tension in this dressing room at the moment. But the next panel, we see the two teams walking out onto the hallowed Wembley turf to a cacophony of noise. The United fans chanting, United, United, and we're going to lift the cup. But as the match kicks off, it's Manchester City first on the attack. The ball drops between Lyle and a City player. It's a 50-50, but Lyle was beaten to it. Rimmy, though, to Lyle. As I've always said, Lyle, plenty talk, no action. Another United player chirping in. You should have won that ball. Rimmy again. Yeah, you're good at 50-50 situations. Maybe that's just recording deals. Oh, Lyle, what's your lip, Rimmy? I've just about had enough of you. Crikey, I mean, these three players, the Manchester City, they're on the attack here.
Unbelievable.
And that's why they're arguing. I mean, and the City, they're heading towards the United goal. Keeper Shenton, he's barking out instructions to Tug Wilson. Close them down. And again, I don't know what's going on with these United players at the moment. Wilson's turning round and telling Shenton to concentrate on his own job. He's moved out now, but it's too late. And the City player, it's a lovely little pass to the side. He's laid it off onto the number 9, and he's through, and he's hit the ball. Oh, it's a goal all the way. The crowd are already cheering. It's there. Shenton's thought bubble, though. Heck, I'm going to have to move some to reach that. And guess what? It's that moment in the comic in big bold letters. It's break time. Are United going to go 1-0 down, or will Bill Shenton pull off a miraculous save? Can Joe Pearson put a stop to all the teams infighting? For all the answers, turn to page 34, and I tell you what, I've wet my fingertip and I am thumbing through these pages to get to this next part of the story.
I'm just wondering.
I can't wait to see what happens here.
I can't wonder, but bearing in mind there's the League Cup final, so I wondered, was Arsenal, are they planning to release a single? Is there any infighting in the Arsenal team today, perhaps?
Oh,
I don't, anyway, let's move on. Come back to this game.
I think their song will be titled "No Coming Back from 2-0 Down." But anyway, we'll leave that there. And as we get to page 34, Shenton, well, he's off. He's held himself to
what
a save. That was a certain goal. Like I said to you in the previous panel, the crowd, actually the Manchester fans, they were celebrating a goal. But Shenton dives to his right and he's got both hands on that ball. I cannot oversell this. That is a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. It really is. Oh, there now Shenton, though, he's shouting at the players, and this is quite interesting. He's telling the United players that they need to come out of hibernation. But we're told the next 15 minutes it's all Manchester. And we see Joe Pearson, he's heading one off the line. And we now see Shenton, he's making another fantastic save, this time down low to his left to push the ball wide of the post. Oh, it's all Manchester, and I don't know what the United players are up to at the moment. Then we see Wilson, he's made a clumsy challenge there, and Manchester are awarded a free kick in quite a dangerous place. The Manchester free kick taker, he's passed the ball sideways for Tommy Taylor, who hammers in an unstoppable shot. It's a goal. There's nothing Shenton can do this time. Goal, Manchester. It's 1-0 to Manchester. Well, the United players really have got to sort themselves out. And I can tell you for the rest of this half, it's all Manchester. United are just not in this game at all at the moment. And just before half time, oh, again, another great goal from Manchester. It's headed down. Shenton once more really doesn't have a chance with that one. I can't believe it there. It's 2-0 now at the half time. Well, 2-0 down at half time. And the first thing we see at half time is actually Lyle's on the phone. And all we can hear is you can say, "You can't do that. We had a deal." As he gets back into the dressing room, Fred Rimmy, "What's up, Lyle? You look like you've seen a ghost." And Lyle turns round, "Our record, the deal's off. The record company don't think it's worth releasing." Well, all I can say is their singing must have been as good as mine. Yes, exactly. Not the golden one. But the deal is off. But Pearson, Stroke Pearson, he's straight in there, the captain. He's standing up in the dressing room. He's got his fist clenched. "That's the best news I've heard in weeks. Maybe now we can concentrate on football and forget all this flaming record business." Manager Boston, you all heard the skipper. "Get out there and prove United are never beaten." Well, I've got to say, the second half is underway. And those words from Pearson and the manager, there's no doubt about it. United are awake in this half, and they're at it now, and they're on the ball. Oh, Clive Lyle, fantastic. Beating one Manchester defender, beating another one. They can't get close to him. He's gliding down the byline. He's got to the byline. He's crossed. Fred Rimmy, go! Yes, what a header! And United are back into this game. 2-1 Manchester now. Fantastic play by Clive Lyle. Just goes to show, if he's got his mind on football, what he can do and what skill he possesses. Well, no, I'm not sure now if United are taking a breather here, having got back into this final. But suddenly, Manchester have got control of the game again. And they're now back on the attack. They're moving into the United box. Oh, it's a speculative shot. I don't think we've got anything to worry about. No, it's taken a deflection. It's gone in. I can't believe it. Shenton would have saved that easily. I think it's deflected off of Tug Wilson. A speculative shot that really wasn't going to trouble the United goal. It's deflected in. Oh, it would have been an easy save. All that hard work, and United are 3-1 down, and it's all to do again. Pearson now, though, he's urging the game they've kicked off. He's urging United to get forward. He's bringing the ball himself out of defence. He can see Lyle. He's unmarked in the box and he's fired it in. But I've got to say, I don't think it's a great cross here. It's a bit high and it's not really there for a header. Lyle, though, we can see in his thought bubble, he's got no chance to control it. He's swiveled his body. He's gone for a volley. What a goal! What a screamer from Clayton O'Dwyer. A volley into the top of the net. A fantastic, spectacular volley. I didn't think that was a scoring opportunity. What a goal for an FA Cup final. I tell you, they'll be talking about this for years to come. Yes, United, they're back into this game. Just a goal behind now. A reminder, it's 3-2 to Manchester City. But I tell you what, this City team are a good side, and they know one more goal will put this final beyond United, and they're looking to press home their advantage. They're not going to give this game away. They're back on the attack. What a final. I tell you what, I'm struggling to keep up with the action here, and they come down the wing. But Joe Pearson, it's a vital intervention, a brilliant tackle. And now we're moving near to the end of this match. There's just 6 minutes to go. And Lyle's on another great run. I tell you what, he's showing some great skill in this final. He's getting down the byline. This time, though, he can't get the crossing, but he's forced the corner. Oh, as I say, there's less than 6 minutes on the clock here. The corner's coming. Yes! chance. Oh, Fred Rimmy, a second header of the final, and United have equalised. Oh, 2-0 down and 3-1 down. Fred Rimmy, 2 headers, and United are back into this match. What a final this is. Surely we're going to be going into extra time. The whistle is going to be going any minute now as the match continues. United, though, are back on the attack. Oh, Joe Pearson on the overlap. He's got there. He's fired in a low cross. Kevin Kane at the near post, but I can tell you there are 2 Manchester defenders near him. Lyle, though, is unmarked at the back post, but Kane, no, he's jumped over the ball. He's stumbled it. It's through to Lyle. Surely, Lyle's having it home. It's there. It's 4-3 United. What a goal. Surely that's it for United. Unbelievable scenes here at Wembley. What a final this is. United 2-0 and 3-1 down, remember. And now Clive Lyle has put them 4-3 ahead. Manchester are kicking off. But that's it. There's just no time. The whistle is blown. The United players jubilant. The Manchester City players sink to their knees. How could they have lost this final? United have won the FA Cup. And now, though, amongst all that excitement, remember, this is Joe Pearson just relaying a story to the players, and we're transferred back to the modern day 1984, and Joe Pearson is now kneeling down by the team bath. So now you see why I'm not keen to get back into the record business, Hedgehog. And we see Hedgehog, sure boss, looks like my singing talent. Will have to remain undiscovered unless I cut a disc of my own, that is. And Wilson, and again, I find this interesting, gone. You couldn't even cut a piece of cheese, Hedgehog. And that, as you know, that is the end. That's the final panel. And at the bottom of the story, we get in bold letter, next week, a cocky youngster arrives at the mill for a trial and gets right up Tug's nose. Well, again, another fantastic flashback to a cup final, and what a cup final it was. Unfortunately, being an Arsenal fan, I remember the 1980 cup final, and it wasn't as exciting as that because it was just a 1-0 victory for West Ham over Arsenal, 4-3. The other thing, sorry, we joked about, but in those days, you wouldn't have been organising a record deal because all football clubs had cup final songs in those days, actually. So it's quite interesting. But brilliant story. And I tell you what, listeners and YouTube viewers, if you do get a chance, dig it out, because I cut out a lot of the banter. There's so much side swiping and sarcasm and ribbing amongst the team. It really was brilliant.
You know, I think the last team to actually record an FA Cup final record was Cardiff City.
Right, yeah.
We don't have them these days because let's face it, and I'm only stating something that is true here, it was mostly British players when we recorded FA Cup final singles. And I'm not sure what the big foreign superstars now would think of going into a record.
I don't know. Ozzy was all right. His knees went a bit trembly, didn't they?
Yeah,
he was on his way to Wembley. His knees have gone all trembly.
Yeah. But Cardiff City had a really good cup final record. I love that. And whenever we watch it we listen to it, it does bring a tear to your eyes, I tell you.
That was brilliant stuff there. Tangent. I could see, and I knew that you're getting higher and higher. I thought, oh my God, he's gone that high when he came back to 3-2.
Yeah, what's he going to get? I forgot that, you know, there's more goals to go. I tend to go a little bit early.
Okay, that's enough. That's too much information. Right, okay, right. Moving on. Okay, right. So the last section of this evening, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it, guys.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so this is the Blackie Gray Story, part 3. So we're still in the 60s. Remember, I started off in the 50s. And last time we did this, it was when Melchester won the 1964 European Cup final. So here we are. It's the 10th of May, 1969. This is a cover, and you've got the Royal Rovers cover there, and you've got the Melchester team. They're actually at a seaside resort. So we see the introductory paragraph says that they've reached the final of the European Cup to be played in France against the champions of Portugal, Santova Rapid. While relaxing at the seaside before the match, they went riding on the sands, but manager Ben Galloway rushed out to stop them. So you see Ben Galloway there in a green. He's got his green, got a green jacket on.
Won the
maybe
Masters once, didn't he?
yeah, yeah, he
Oh,
did.
wow.
Famously did. Yeah, I think he beat Jack Nicklaus that year.
Mm.
Anyway, so he's trying to stop them, and you've got Blackie Gray there. He's in a red tracksuit. He's going, Ben, be careful. You cause an accident. But yeah, Ben's trying to stop them actually riding the horses. But anyway, next turn the page and you go, but the Blackie's fallen off the horse and he's landed on the sand, and the horse has hit him on the head with its hoof, and you can see it there, and he's like, So yeah, you get no. He's Sparko. He's lying on his back, and Roy's there, and he's rushing over, and he goes, he's been knocked cold just before the final. This could cost us the cup. But Blackie, he sits up and he's like, I'm all right, except for a bit of a headache. But Ben's there, and he's like, I'm sending you straight back to Melchester for a complete checkup. Ben's having a go at Roy, saying, I told you, Roy, you shouldn't have allowed the lads to risk riding. And Roy's like, Ben, if you'd left them alone, this never would have happened. So anyway, they're over at Melchester, and you've got Taffy Morgan there, and they're checking him out, and they're saying, actually, Blackie's fit to play. And Blackie's like, I could have told you that. And obviously, the concussion
Yeah.
rules aren't as stringent as they are now. And Ben's there going, I hope you're both right. We're bang on the head. You can never tell. So anyway, they're off. Roy's there, and he's kind of like, I'm going to keep an eye on him. And so they're getting prepared for the kickoff, and he goes, are you sure you're all right, Blackie? He goes, yep, stop fussing. This is such a big match for Rovers. I wouldn't take a chance. I'm not that selfish.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Santova Rapid, they started the game, and yeah, straight away they're in action. Tubby Morton's had to make a dive, and he saved the ball, and he makes a clearance, and it's Lofty Peak's got the ball. I think Lofty Peak had just joined the Rovers actually this year, so he's picked up the ball and he's played it straight over to Blackie. Blackie's got the ball, and Roy's there, and he's seen him. He's going, Blackie's in great form. Thank God for that. So obviously, there's no real kind of long standing damage there. So they keep going. Blackie hits a shot, and it's a great save by the keeper. Pushes it onto the bar. Roy then follows up, but the rebound is saved again by the keeper, and it's pushed over for a corner. Terry Wesley takes the kick. He gets it over, and he swings it over. But Blackie jumps up for the corner, and he clashes heads with a defender. He's gone down again. So he's like, So the game continues. And then Jeff Giles, he comes to get the ball, and he goes, okay, Blackie, leave it to me. But now Blackie tackles Jeff Giles, and he's like, hey, that was mine. And then Blackie suddenly is going in the wrong direction, and Jeff is going, you're going the wrong way. And suddenly they've got time during the match to Jeff and Roy, and I think probably Jumbo Trudgeon has got, what's gone into Blackie? He doesn't seem to know which side he's on. He's playing a marvellous game for Rapid. And you see in the next panel, Blackie goes past the defender and he goes, Tubby, come out, don't let him shoot. Tubby's coming out to try and stop Blackie from scoring. But in the next panel, in the next week, you see Blackie's scored. He's put the goal in his ball, he's put the ball in his own net, the European Cup final, and he scored for the opposition. And Roy's gone to him, Blackie, what happened? And Jeff's there, so he doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. And then suddenly Blackie collapses.
Wow.
He's gone out like a light. And well, he says, and Roy says to the ref, he says, can we have our trainer on? I think he's probably going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the
I'd
answer
like to think so.
I'd like to, even in 1969.
Need that sponge.
Yeah. So Taffy comes out with his sponge. And they're going, yeah, no. Taffy says, it's concussion. They'll have to go off. So anyway, they take him off, and the doctor's looking at him, and he goes, the doctor says, actually, it's nothing serious. He'll be right as rain after a while. Never mind, he's been hit on the head by a hoof of a horse. And then he does another concussion. Yeah, mind. But anyway, Ben's having a go at Taffy, saying, you should have known something like this could have happened after Blackie got that bang on the head the other day. Anyway, meanwhile, they put on a substitute. They don't name the substitute.
No,
You just put the substitute on. Anyway, Taffy has a go back at Ben. Says, well, there was a medical check, but anyway, they're not happy. So anyway, the game kicks off, and Roy's saying, we've got to go flat out for a quick equaliser. Blackie will never get over it if we lost the cup final during, through his goal. So Santova,
incredible dribble through the
it's a great
team own goal.
Yeah, it's a great goal. Anyway, Santova now, they're kind of parking the bus or, low block or whatever you used to call it in 1969. Probably just everybody sitting back. And they've got everybody back in defence, and Rovers can't get through. And they're only trying to kick the ball out of their net. And yeah, they're hitting the ball and it's ricocheting. It's coming off a couple of players, but the keeper saves it. They just can't. And the crowd's going, come on, Rovers, keep up the pressure. And it's half time. And Blackie's kind of come round a bit. And Roy's kind of saying to Taffy, well, how's Blackie? He's always come round. But yeah, he blacked out when he went up for the header. He doesn't remember the rest. So Roy's thinking, "Oh, I don't want to tell Blackie that he scored for Rapid." So he's saying, yeah, Santova putting up a tough fight. We expected it. They're a great side, but don't worry about it. So Blackie's kind of okay. But anyway, Ben's given a bit of halftime talk and he's going, the European champions are being invited to Mexico as a summer guest in a special tournament. So be sure you make the trip. Never mind the fact of try and win the European Cup.
Yeah,
you just want to go on a bit of
hilarious, right?
bit of a jolly up in Cancun. So anyway, Blackie's there going, yeah, Mexico, that's absolutely marvellous. This is a chance we can't afford to miss. Just my luck to be stuck here. Never mind the fact he's put them 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're walking out onto the pitch and Jumbo's there and he's going, we've just got to find a way to win this game. Or is there? If we can force the ball into their net just once, they'll have to give up their pack defence tactics. So again, Rovers are on the attack. And yeah, they're filling the penalty box, Santova, and at last Roy gets a shot in. All the keepers saved it, and it's gone off for a corner. Roy then signals to fullback Ken Miller, and so Ken Miller's just on the edge of the D. And anyway, Terry West takes a short corner and passes the ball, and then he passes it back to Ken Miller, and then Ken Miller launches a great long shot. And it's gone up in the air, up. The keeper can't see it because there's so many defenders in the box. He's unsighted, and it's gone straight into the net.
Wow.
Rovers have equalised. And there's Roy there giving a bit of a knowing grin, and he's going, now they've got to loosen up and take risks. This is our chance to square things. Poor old Blackie, and earn that trip to Mexico. Never mind, what about trying to win the European Cup? That's quite important,
it's amazing,
right? I mean,
isn't it? Yeah. It's quite funny.
But I suppose it's
get
the
to
60s.
Mexico and get kidnapped.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. I suppose the 60s, they never had a chance to go on holiday much, did they? It was,
no.
They're going to holiday camps and stuff like that. Butlins. Anyway, so the game continues. Santova are now coming out. Obviously, they're attacking. And they're going, cut him out, Jeff. But anyway, Jeff Giles, he has a bit of a tackle. The shot is, he tackles the Santova player, and the shot then goes through to Tubby. Tubby then launches the ball. Long throw, really long throw. And it goes out, and Roy's away, and he gives the ball to Jumbo. So Jumbo's up with Roy. Roy holds back and he plays for time, just making sure so Jumbo can get onside. So he passes it through to Jumbo. And the defenders are kind of trying to get back. And they've been caught back. They've been caught though, Santova, because they were pushing forward. And suddenly Roy's through. He's through. He's in on goal, and it's there. He lifts it over the keeper, and it's there. Roy has given Rovers the lead. And now, now Santova are, really going to expect them to kind of sit back. And the players are saying, what do we do now, Roy? Do we try for another to make absolutely sure? And what do? Absolutely. So Santova pushes forward, and Terry West makes it 3-1 to Rovers. And that's it. The European Cup is going to Melchester. So you've got them there. You've got Roy on the shoulders of a couple of players. And the game ended in triumph for the Rovers. They proudly paraded the cup around the ground. Bravo, Roy. Well done, Melchester. And Roy there, he's on his shoulders. He goes, now for Mexico. Never mind. Why don't you enjoy the moment, Roy. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
You've won the European Cup, and poor old Blackie is in that dressing room. He doesn't realise.
He's going to be off to Mexico, though. He's going to be off to Mexico.
He's off to Mexico. He's probably dreaming of Suzanne Cerise.
Exactly.
Maybe to a wall or something like that, Blackie.
it's just a babbling wreck.
The thing is, though, as well,
Melchester won the European Cup in 1969. Sorry, go on, Barbara.
No, I'm reading from Roy the Rovers at the minute. I'm reading from 1970 onwards, Tiger, and how much Roy managed the team already.
Yeah.
Then why do what we're going to do now, Roy? I don't know. Let's ask Ben. He's the manager, because Ben must be sat there going, wow, they're letting him come on. Are we playing open? I want him to close up and sit back. Do you know what I mean? Roy again. He's a control freak.
Yeah, but you know what they say? You know what they say? If you want promotion, you want to get a next job, you need to be acting
Exactly.
that way before you get it. So
Yeah.
he was just kind of like planting those seeds in the director's minds, thinking
Yes.
someday in 7 years' time, he could be,
And
well, I
how
think
and how
he
great a
became
manager.
player manager in 75, didn't he? So six
Yeah.
years' time,
Yeah.
he could
How
be.
great a manager was Ben Galloway, though. He's like, oh look, my captain, he's quite a tactical genius. I'll let him get on with it until we falls a cropper. But he doesn't. So he's like, go with it, let him win.
Yeah.
That's
But
Galloway's second European Cup, isn't it?
yeah, it was. It was.
1963, wasn't it, the first one?
Mm.
64 the
64.
first one.
First
69.
British team ever to win it. Well,
Yeah,
Melchester
Yeah.
Rovers.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people knew that.
I wonder if they were all born within a few miles of Mel Park.
Well, we never know because you don't know
Uh,
where it is, do we?
no,
Oh,
exactly.
let's not go there. Let's not go there. Yeah,
One
yeah.
day I will do it
One
on a
day,
Oh,
one day,
podcast.
one
I've
day.
Is
said
it the
it.
last?
Back is ready.
Did they not win it again? They didn't.
No, they won it in 73. Yeah, I think they won it in
yeah.
73
Right.
as well.
Just chatting.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
oh, you've ruined that now. I didn't know about that one.
Oh,
Sorry, spoiler alert. I think it's
mm,
yeah, it's 73. I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. That's the last section. It's the last section. But anyway, that's
brilliant.
Blackie Gray Part 3. Next is the 70s. We're moving on to the 70s.
Yeah.
The modern
I know.
era.
I know. Exciting times, exciting times. Okay, that's the show. Right. So we do the social media, the places where people can find us and comment, etc., etc. Tangent, are you good if I hand over to
Yep,
you without planning
certainly.
this that you're going to do the
Yeah,
Facebook
so
sites?
of course there is the few Facebook sites. There is, I still think this is a fantastic name for a Facebook group. The Champ We Are United and Football Picture
It's got a
Story
certain ring
Monthly
to it, hasn't it,
fans.
really?
It's got a ring to it. I mean,
You
I
can call
tell
it a
you what,
podcast, that, can't
I
you?
reckon the podcast could be named after that. Yeah, exactly. So that's obviously for all your We Are United stuff and Football Picture Story Monthly. Then you've got the brilliant, brought to us by a friend of the show, Ed Taylor, Roy the Rovers comic 40 years on. Watch this space
Well,
in brackets,
mm,
Melchester Rovers. And that's a fantastic Facebook group for all your Roy the Rovers stuff. And I've got to say, actually, and I'm going to be, is it Paul Waddington? I'm going to get this wrong.
yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on with AI at the moment, but I've got to say, there's some brilliant images that have been done and
Yeah, there is.
across the multiverses. So definitely well
Yeah.
worth a look at that at the moment. And as we should always, because do you know something, we'll always be moaning it, but there is current football comic strip out there.
Yes.
There's the Striker World Facebook group as well. And of course, remember, if you want to know more about the latest, what's going on with Striker and how to subscribe, all the information will be on that Facebook site. And then one other one, which I believe, which is not just football comic based, is the Mighty World of British Comics as well. So those are your four great Facebook group pages there for, I think, certainly will get all your football comic book needs. And as I say, in the Mighty World of British Comics, even more than that.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Tangent. Yeah, and you can see us on YouTube in glorious Technicolor if you so wish. So we are on there as British Football Comics. Yeah, so like and subscribe when you do watch us on there. And we're on X, Twitter as well as @champ_R. That's @champ_RARE. So yeah, find us, comment, give us ideas if there's anything you want us to kind of research because we love doing that as well. But yeah, thank you very much indeed. So that's the show. So let's go around and kind of just get the final words from everybody. Let's okay, so he didn't do a section this time, but it's great to have him on the show, and he'll be back with a 1984-85 season, I think, next time. So time traveler Ian.
Yeah, no, it's been great to be on. Thanks for having me, and great to listen to everyone's stuff and learning some new things as I went along, such as the location of Carford. So that's helped me in my map.
Yes.
And we're not quite learning the location of Carford, knowing that they started in Division 3 North according to
Mm.
that program. So, but that means they could be as low down as Birmingham. There we go. But thanks very much.
No, great to have you on, and thank you for the singing.
Ah,
Um,
anytime.
and okay, and yeah, we loved his week 21. He's throwback there. Oh, tangential one. Final few words from yourself.
Well, like, as you just said, thanks Ian for bailing me out and making that mad United recording makes sense because I certainly couldn't, but loved it. And I just have got to say though, yeah, I was aware of these Tiger sports books, but for me, and it's almost like it's new content. And please, Bygone, please. There are other stories, and I think I have seen some nuggets as you were doing it, some more real good stuff to be revealed. So you have to continue this story.
Definitely.
It's a must. It is a must. Loved every second of that. And yeah, so and of course, it's always nice to see Blackie Gray in his latest where he gets knocked out or
Poor
falling
Blackie.
in love. Yeah,
Oh,
it should be interesting if Blackie can spend most of the 70s conscious.
he never had any luck, did he? Even after, right up to retirement and past that, he's never had any luck.
No, 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 he didn't. Brilliant stuff. Thank you. And yes, Bygone, indeed. Over to you. We loved your your rendition of the sports libraries. Final few words from yourself.
Say, yeah, I've really enjoyed tonight's show. I'm glad you all like the feature. I hope the listeners do too, because it's something I don't think we've hardly touched upon, these Tiger Sport libraries. And I am gonna, if you wish, I can review the next one as well. But they just do go into a lot more detail than the football picture story monthlies and some of the other stories. I've enjoyed the features again. The We Are United. I've not got around to reading them yet, so it's great to find out some more of their cup heroics and things like that. And then especially from yours, the true hero, Blackie Gray, Penny's
True.
true love as well. I always thought.
Oh,
So it's nice
controversial.
because it does become a bit Roy heavy, the stories, but it's when
What do you think the Roy the
Yeah,
Rover stories
Roy the
become a bit
Rover
Roy
story
heavy?
become.
become Roy heavy.
Do you know what? I don't know about you, Ian, but those Doctor Who episodes, there's far too much Doctor in it for my
I
liking.
know, but it keeps going on. It's a team game, and
It's like I think this podcast has too much football comic stuff in it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really does. It's too
we're
much.
going to do a feature on Bunty in a couple of weeks. No, it's
Yeah.
good. It's nice.
Uh,
Like I've seen some of them stories in the Roy the Rovers, the playing years. There's been some segments in
Yes.
that, so it's
Yeah, yeah,
nice when
yeah.
you go through them in a bit more depth. But yeah, really enjoyable. I've really enjoyed today's. So
sorry, Mute, if you don't mind. Love it. Gangster Brinsden Berrigan.
Well, this is it. This is it. I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get any accents. So next time when you do it, we
yeah,
need
what
we
I'll do
need.
is I'll do it. I will that Whitey deserved an
He
accent.
definitely did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
You
have
let us
to.
down. You let down your fans there with that one.
Yeah, I will do. I'll put it in my notes. I just can't. I made loads of notes and I can't read, so I'm gonna have to write in capitals.
Brilliant stuff. Look, that was a great show. I really enjoyed it. That was
Yeah.
episode 127. We'll see you for episode 128, or it could be number one of the Bunty Comic Podcast.
the
Who knows?
new Bundy podcast.
I'll definitely do the voices. Hello.
Brilliant stuff. We'll see you all very soon. Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye.